Album Concept Hour. The Album Concept Hour. It's the Album Concept Hour. Welcome, everybody, to the Album Concept Hour. This is your host, Brad LeBaron, here as I always am. And I am joined today. You might not see John or Dave on the couch today, but that's because we have some very special guests in the studio. We got Lunar Moth right next to me. We got Mac. We got Jack. And we got Amber, right?
Close.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
10 out of 10.
Sorry. What?
Good enough.
Okay. Sorry. What was your name one more time?
Gage.
Gage.
Yeah,
Sorry.
You couldn't see my ears. That's what people always say.
Right. So Mac, Gage, and Amber are here from Lunar Moth. This is a Madison band that freaking rocks, and we've had them on the podcast before for not Nine Inch Nails, but
Alice in
Chains. Similar era. Yeah, Alice in Chains. We found out a lot of dark stuff in that album.
A lot of heroin.
That was a lot of heroin.
Heroin was pretty big back then.
Yeah.
Heroin, suicide.
Yeah.
Suicide.
Those kinds of things.
Wah, yeah.
War,
Lots of
know.
wah pedals.
Yeah. So
And drop tuning.
and drop tuning, of course. Today we're going a little different route, though. We're jumping into a band called Frankie and the Witch Fingers and the album Data Doom, which you guys did recommend last time you were on the show. And it's from 2023. So it must have come out like pretty soon before, or right before you guys like came out to the show. So you must have made a real impression on you guys, like in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I think it came out maybe 6 months before we came on, and I don't want to speak too much to like their influence on us and our writing of our album Stranger, but I think it definitely like kickstarted something in us to make us want to make more of that like heavy hitting garage rock style thing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, start to finish, there isn't really a dull moment on this album, and then when it hits and they go into high gear, it goes, and it's like we've said this to you before at this point, but like we've seen them quite a few times, and they're one of the few bands where you like see them play live and there are no mistakes, but it seems as though they're jamming too, where it's just like they're incredibly tight.
Yeah. Like you were telling me that they really, you can tell that they can kind of look at each other and kind of make kind of subtle kind of changes and get across ideas that way.
Yeah.
Which is that's takes time, takes a lot of practice, to get to that point. What I like about what you guys do is you're being a three-piece, like I've always found at least that three pieces are able to hit that kind of feeling, easier just because of the sense that there's not as many minds to connect with. You know? So, you guys put on a really tight show too. So I think that you're taking that inspiration and running in a good direction with that.
Thank you.
So, yeah. I was out to see you guys for the album release show that happened between the now and the previous episode, which is a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah, that was one of I think the last shows they had over at the VFW.
Oh, they're not doing.
I don't think so.
Oh man,
I want to say they had a couple after ours. They had some sort of fundraiser there, and then I think the powers that be over there were kind of like, we're done.
All right. Well, it's good. Well, it lasted at the VFW there.
I think
if you like the shows at the VFW, call them and let them know.
Yeah, please. It was a cool spot. I think they maybe didn't understand how many punk shows that they're going to be throwing or something along those lines. So.
Well, yeah. If you're gonna, I mean, it's a nice spot, and like. A lot of people could fit in that room. There's
big room.
They got bathrooms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it was two bathrooms.
I think they said that the capacity of that hall was like over 400.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. Like that's high noon sized,
Yeah. They could be holding some pretty big shows there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots
and
of
in right in Monona too, like there's not really a lot of places to do that in this part of town.
Nice parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
A lot of bonuses.
Yeah.
Sorry for the sidetrack.
No. It's one of those things like it's just ever changing with local music. Trying to figure out where to play and who will let you in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's usually at the beginning of the show we go around. We used to do this at the end of the show. Now we go around and find out what everyone's been jamming on before we get into the album. So I'll just start. I've been jamming on. I was telling you guys about the Music League stuff. I'm always talking about the Music League. It's kind of become my what I talk about during this segment of the podcast, because the thing is, the music that I'm listening to is either the album we're currently listening to or something a friend suggested for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm listening to music as a chore too, you know? But this last playlist for me and the guys in the podcast, like Dave and Friends, was another normal playlist. So we tried to pick really normal songs, you know, what you might consider normal. This first one was Another Day, Another Dollar by Wynn Stewart. I hadn't heard that before, but it felt pretty normal. Zach Bryan, Oklahoma Smoke Show, felt very normal, country normal. And then I submitted Everyday Normal Guy 2 by John LaJoie.
Is it a normal song or just normal in the title?
He's a normal guy, you know. So
nice.
I wanted to submit that for the last normal one that came up, so I had to. Then we have I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred. You know, I'm Too Sexy.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I was glad to hear that again. It had been a while since that one came up.
Classic.
That one used to be like an OG meme song where people would be like, "Could you believe this?
Do you believe this actually happened?" And you watch the music video on MTV and be like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Come On Eileen by Dexy Midnight Runners.
I love that
good
song.
That's a good normal person song. That's
Very
like
song.
that's like a big like karaoke go to, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Very song, much good.
Yeah. Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, what a classic.
Love that.
That's an absolute
And then
banger.
the last one, while I'll agree it is kind of a normal person song, I don't think Prince would appreciate being called a normal song. This is Prince's Kiss.
So, Kiss is really good.
Yeah. And that's the one that, you know, most normal people will know. You know? But
I don't know that like guitar licks in that one.
I don't think Prince would appreciate being on a normal playlist.
No,
you know
probably
what I mean?
not. He's rolling in his grave right now.
Yeah, for many reasons.
You calling his music normal and also calling him by the name Prince. I don't
Yeah. I'm sorry. Prince, formerly known as Prince. I want to get sued by his family.
to be honest, I don't.
But it was the
what's going on
hologram
with
thing that did it for me. That was what made me like, Prince hated holograms. Why are you making holograms of him, dude? But anyway, what have you been jamming on, Mac?
I've been listening to a lot of like modern pop music. I've really been jamming out to Chapel Roan and Dua Lipa, Olivia Rodrigo. I've also been listening to Doechie's new album.
Dude, yes, that album.
And I've been throwing it back with some Bismarcky lately.
Okay, getting old school too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of different types of music, and I just kind of, when I get bored with something, I shift.
Yeah.
To something else.
No, I mean, if you are like an actual fan of music itself, you know, you got to expand your horizons and shit.
Yeah. I've been really, really liking those artists lately.
I'm really excited for Chapel's second album. It's going to be like, I mean, whether it's however good it's going to be, it's going to like take over the charts.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think it'll be good. I think it will be good. But Gage, what about you? What have you been jamming on recently?
So I become pretty.
I'm sorry. That's what I thought when he said that.
He's been listening to a lot of Linkin Park.
Yeah, it comes up more than you would think. I've become pretty like bored of music quickly, especially if it's something that I've heard a lot. So I found. Have you seen the show Severance?
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm not going to be that guy and be like, you have to watch it. But there is a phrase on there called Defiant Jazz that came up. And I was like, Defiant Jazz.
Is that from that dancing episode?
Yeah.
Okay,
essentially,
I've seen that scene.
Yeah. There is a different thing on there later where they pull out a Defiant Jazz record. And I was like, well, that sounds cool. So, excuse me. I looked up a Defiant Jazz playlist on Spotify, and it actually had one. Obviously, it was some sort of algorithmic playlist based on my listening. But from there, I found this dude named David McCallum, and he was like an actor and also like a composer back in the 70s.
Okay.
You probably heard a sample from the song, I think The Final Episode, with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
So just chill before the next episode.
Yeah, so
they pull that at the end of one of those episodes.
No, but this guy was on this playlist, and it's
okay. Sorry, it's the thing. It's
the song they sampled.
Okay.
Smoke weed every day.
That one.
Yeah.
So that's the sample in that, and that dude did like score music for movies in the 70s, and I've been listening to like playlists of like, I guess, vintage music scores.
Dude, hell yeah.
And then
yeah,
thanks. It's been fun because it's like stuff that I've never listened to, and like a lot of it I've never heard. And
you're also into like production and stuff too, right? You're trying to learn to produce more and stuff.
Yeah, and which has been awesome. And like listening to old stuff, you'll hear weird shit. Like this song has the entire drum set on the right speaker only.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that can be fun.
Yeah, like, when you hear like original like Beatles and Beach Boys stuff, it's all like all over. You know, they are it's very strange about what they choose to be on right and left.
Right.
You know?
And now it's like drums are down the middle, and you've got everything kind of like even, which is kind of like pleasing for your ears, but sometimes that like heaviness on one side can be entertaining.
Oh yeah.
And we did mention clowncore. Like I'm unabashedly a clowncore fan. I like them a lot.
I might have to have you back for whenever we do that.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
They don't actually have their actual identities out in the world. I think their drummer is Lewis Cole, who also has a solo project and is a knower. I listen to both of those quite a bit because he's a fantastic drummer.
So you do you think the drumming sounds very similar?
Yeah, I mean, if you look up like who is the drummer of clowncore on the internet, it's kind of like, well, it's Lewis Cole. So it's like
it's just they haven't officially released their identities to the world.
No, not at all. And
like in a Spider-Man situation.
Exactly.
Some people know. But,
most people know, especially because like we're gonna get into the weeds for a second. Like Lewis Cole's open-handed, so like this is his snare hand and this is his hi-hat hand. And the drummer of clowncore is that too. And they have like
there's not a lot of those, right?
There's not a lot of them. Yeah. Their drum sets are super similar. The drum set sounds are super similar.
Yeah.
And I mean, most recently, like last year, Nowhere canceled a tour because of health issues, and then like within like 15 minutes, like clowncore also canceled the tour due to health issues.
Yeah. I think you got him nailed.
But anyway, that whole like sphere of like new funk, jazz, experimental stuff has kind of been my jam lately too, which they're usually lumped in with like why can't I think of the name of the other band? It'll come to me later, but it's all that the new funk stuff that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Really, really good. The people who sell tickets to shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We also made up a playlist to help us answer this question, but I've deviated from that recently.
You made a playlist for this section of the pod?
Well, we're trying to like get, and we've been doing really bad at it, but we're trying to get like more people to like live on our Spotify page a little bit. So it's like we're making playlists that are hosted on the Lunar Moth Spotify page. So it'll be like, this is what we're listening to. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. So it's like a thing for the band and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice. Yeah. That's a good idea. Like that's like more bands should probably do that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like that. What about you, Amber? What have you been jamming on recently?
So I don't know. There's this band that I found recently. I think they're from Australia. We got added to this playlist that was like a shoegaze playlist, and this band called Oscar the Wild was on there, and now I'm in love with them.
That's a great band name.
Yeah, they've got a song called Big Think, and I'm obsessed with it. So I've been jamming that a lot.
Big Think.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Highly recommend.
Oscar the Wild.
Psychedelic Corn Crumpets have been releasing new music.
Oh, they have new music coming out?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Also Australian.
Yep.
And then Viagra Boys just released a new album.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I haven't checked it out yet. Yeah.
The singles are so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't made it through the whole album yet, but
yeah.
They start out, I always think it's so interesting how bands like will release singles and then I always like to like see where they land in the album.
Yeah, right.
In this case, they're like all at the top, so I'm like, that's an interesting move.
Well, yeah, that's like I think that's like what used to be the standard is like tracks like 2 and 3 are the big singles, and then maybe one later in the album will be a third single if they have that much attention or something.
Right.
You know. But I think we did an album recently where like they oh yeah, it was for Ray Charles. The third single that they put out ended up being the like big like hit for that album.
That's cool.
And it was like way later in the album, you know, and but yeah. That's very cool. Yeah.
Wolfpack is the band I was thinking of.
Wolfpack. Yes.
They're one of those musicians bands, and they play that like new era funk stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of the clowncore and like Lewis Cole playlists have a lot of their toes dipping in from those other Wolfpack style bands.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about it. It's pretty great.
Yeah. I wouldn't complain either. That sounds like a good combination of musics that we've been listening to. But we got to get to the topic at hand here tonight, and that is Frankie and the Witchfingers' Data Doom from 2003. So, you know, obviously this is pretty new, having only been around a couple years here. But I think the title is, still, of course, remains relevant. Data Doom, you know, we're living in a weird world where like data is like valuable, but we don't get any chunk of the value.
Commodity.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It's worth its weight in gold.
Weird AI stuff going on. And
I cringe to think how much of my data is on the internet.
Everywhere.
I don't even know how to comprehend
It's
it.
everywhere.
all of the data.
People are buying and selling it on the open market and also on the black market. It's
wild.
It's a thing.
Yeah. Doge definitely has it on a hard drive.
Yeah.
But we might be living in part of this album's current like dystopia that they're putting forth. There's like a lot of themes of togetherness with humanity and rising above this situation and maybe doing better. There's some similar themes to spiritual machines, which we talked about on a different episode of the podcast. But and there's also this interesting sister system thing that comes up. So we'll get into all this as we go on. But this first clip we got for you, the album starts off real strong, and I think I got a clip from 2 sections of the song because it's a longer track. But yeah, here's a little bit of Empire. Yeah, I wanted to highlight the jammy bit and the funky bit, you know. A lot going on in that track.
Yes, that intro riff is so good.
So sick.
Yeah. One thing we're mentioning is like the riff comes back at the end of this one really strong. They do that. They're really good at that in this album in general. And they know when they have a good riff.
They like a good bookend.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They also picked a fantastic song to start an album off. This one just you sit down and you start it and you're like, well, shit, I guess we're in for a ride.
Yeah, it really pulls you in. Like it makes you excited for the album. You know, that's what a first track is supposed to do. You know, really get you excited for the rest of the album, set the stage and the tone, and they do a great job of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We have the first little bit of kind of setting the stage for the theme or whatever is empire, you know, starting with you want to build an empire, atom of the human, you want the silicon wired, in comes automation. And then this part, I actually had to look this word up, How did we get here from fire nearing the eschaton, which is let's see, the last thing used in theology to refer to the climax of history, culminating in the last judgment.
Interesting.
I wonder where they learned that word.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I don't know. I mean, I know a decent amount of Bible shit, and I definitely had never heard of that word.
Me either.
Maybe he's Catholic.
Maybe. I'm intrigued to find out who writes all the lyrics for the band, because I don't know, and depending on who it is, I'm assuming it's their singer, Dylan. That would make the most amount of sense. Typically, that's how that works. But
a lot of times that's the way it is.
He's got.
I think I have the information here, but
except not in Rush's case, right?
Not what?
Not in Rush's case, right? Isn't that
right?
Oh
yeah. Rush. It's like the.
Oh, Neil. Their drummer.
Yeah.
The
I
drummer.
thought you were saying
Also,
not in Russia.
Oh,
I thought you were
Russia.
making like a
Soviet Russia.
Yeah, Songwrite You.
Songwrite You.
Or I guess
Fall
somewhere in
Out
Pink
Boy, I
Floyd.
think.
Yeah, Fall Out Boy is the bass player.
Elton John.
Elton John had his
yeah, he
his
didn't
buddy
write
that
any
wrote
of the
everything.
songs. He just performed them.
Yeah.
Meatloaf's kind of like that too, where like the guy that plays piano in the band writes all of the lyrics and all the songs, and Meatloaf would sing them.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. I forgot the guy's name, but he rocks.
For Frankie though, it's like whoever's writing it is writing some like really interesting stuff. Like if I was presented with it, I don't know how I would put the words that he's using into a song and have it flow as well as they do.
Yeah, like as melodic as it is.
Yeah, like especially when you see words like this, like eschaton, like he's making it fit in with automation or whatever.
Yeah.
And like. Yeah, I don't know if he knew the word or if he heard it or read it. Maybe he read it in a book or something.
Maybe he was just looking for something that rhymed and
yeah. But yeah, it does
brought up
evoke
a thesaurus.
It does evoke like something very, very like it. The seriousness of what he's talking about. To say it's like we're living in the end of time, essentially.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Did you guys ever play Chrono Trigger? Anyone?
No.
In Chrono Trigger, that is like that's one of the places you go to. It's more like it's a time travel game, and one of the places you go is the end of time.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wild.
Yeah. Although they didn't use this word, I don't think. But then I like the line here though is kind of what comes up a lot. I think theme wise too is concrescence of human. I don't know. I don't know what concrescence mean actually. Sorry.
That's another A+ word that they're bringing out. And I didn't know that they were like, as wordy as they were.
Because you just sing, you just dance, and you're like,
yeah, exactly.
There's a very good rhythm to the vocals, and I kind of like focus more on the vocal rhythm and how it matches up with the.
Oh, this is what I was thinking
with
of.
the instruments.
Sorry. Yeah. Face it. Our humanness must stabilize. I see what you mean. Vessels must be forever synthesized. I see what you mean. Our task, communicate and unify. So like when I was reading these lyrics, I was thinking like maybe what they're proposing is that we must unite our humanness and also, I don't know, communicate and unify with machines to do this.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like they're talking about like human and technology like integrating.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of reading. Yeah.
And then I think there's probably just like a bunch of different perspectives, but I think sometimes they're talking about that. Sometimes it feels like they're talking about like the overlords like taking over, and sometimes it feels like the like humanity is trying to like rise above some.
Yeah, like the one thing I can't really fully grasp just from this track is like, is the empire they're describing like a bad thing, or is the empire like the thing they're describing is like something that we could use to fight the powers that be?
Yeah, like the hope.
Like we become the empire and take over the thing or something. I don't know. But then this next track, Burn Me Down, really like, this is the only, okay, so the rest of the tracks I can pretty much connect to the themes, but I will say this track in particular, as far as the lyrics go, I couldn't quite figure out where it connects, but
I will say in some of this album, as it relates to the rest of their discography, there are a lot of like the themes that we're talking about, but then I feel like there are some like hints of just maybe like, I don't want to call it drug use, but it's like the psychedelia aspect of them as a band comes through, where it's like they could be talking about some of these main themes, but they could also just be talking about like smoking weed or like tripping or something. You know what I mean?
Well, that would play to the like universal consciousness type stuff, you know?
Absolutely.
Trying to unite on that hippy dippy shit so that we can fight fascism and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, for the record, they did have sorry.
You're
They earlier in their career they literally had a song called Cocaine Dream, where the chorus was "I want to be in a cocaine dream." So
pretty straightforward.
Yeah, they were a band that really enjoyed doing drugs, or I mean maybe not, maybe they weren't.
They might
doing a lot
they
of
could have been doing it
coke,
ironically, you know, just capturing the sound of it.
Yeah, but,
you know,
I would imagine, you know, from time to time, they live in California. They probably smoke weed Actually,
I think cocaine's a pretty regularly used thing in Cali too, as far as like stuff you'd find at a party. From what I hear,
for the record too, the Data Doom came out, and with Data Doom coming out, they partnered with dispensaries to have a Data Doom Bloom, which was weed that you could buy that had the branding of the album on it.
That's fucking cool.
And I was like, how do I get some of that?
Want some so bad. I want to smoke it and listen to this album, because I don't think anyone's ever done that before. Anyway, speaking of Burn Me Down, here's Burn Me Down. I will say a lot of the way that the guitar and the drums and stuff like play together definitely gave me some Queens of the Stone Age vibes when I first heard it. I was like,
I can see that.
Yes,
like
though that one track in particular, I think the famous one with the music video.
No One Knows.
Yeah. No one knows.
No one knows.
Yeah. Maybe it's a different one of theirs.
The one with the radio broadcast in the end.
Yeah. But this one's cool. What I was saying before we listen to it is like, I don't know where it connects, because it seems to mostly just be about like really digging cremation and like death by fire, or not death by fire, like disposing of the body by fire. I think there's some lyrics where he's actually talking about not wanting to be displayed. Oh yeah, first lyric: I do not wish to be displayed. When life has answered its call, no party for my cadaver, no reason to have a ball.
Huh.
So it's like, weirdly, this just seems to mostly just be about like, hey, I want to be burned when I die. I want to be cremated.
Interesting.
That's mostly what I'm getting from the lyrics, and I love it. You know?
I wonder if this maybe plays into some of the other concepts on the album. Like maybe it was the Empire collapsed, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, maybe it's just life is so freaking stupid right now. It's just like, I don't care anymore. Just freaking burn me.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It's like a cry for help. You know?
Could be.
Or maybe they're talking about the system itself, dude.
I could see that.
Burn it down. Yeah. Burn it into flames. But yeah, I don't know. Like I with this song, like I don't want to read too much, like much deeper into it, because I just like what it is for what it is. You know,
yeah.
This is a fun track.
Musically, it trucks. Like you go right from Empire into this one, and it doesn't stop.
There's that middle part too, where they're like ba-na, 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 ba-ba-da, and it just it hits,
and they go right back. Yeah. They're really good again at bringing it back. You know, bring it way back to the like the guitar, the theme or whatever they're jamming. I love this track. This one's fun. And then we get on to Electricide, where we get a little more context as far as the like dystopia that we're inhabiting in this album.
I was able to find the credits.
Oh, you were?
I brought the cassette tape as well.
Oh, that's a lot easier.
Is that one that you duped?
This is a legitimate one. I didn't dupe one. And I'm pretty sure it just says written. It says written and produced, but written by Frankie and the Witch Fingers. So they're not really leading on to who's writing what.
Yeah. Some bands,
that's cool.
Some bands are like that.
We do the
some
same
bands
thing.
are like, we don't want anyone to
You
know.
like
For the
that?
most part.
Yeah. Which, like, when it comes to copyright stuff, that's probably the way to go. Honestly, it's weird divvying up percentages in that way.
Unless
It's
you
like,
hate somebody in
you
your
made
band.
10% of it. You made 12% of the song, and I think you made the rest. It's
Or-
like,
If you're in a band with Lars Ulrich or something.
yeah. Or if you write lyrics, sometimes you get more percentage because you wrote the lyrics or something. And it's like, well, but if that's mostly what you did, it's like, is that really worth that much percentage? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Divvying up percentage is really weird. But
I think you have to make money on music in order for that to matter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not just
Like-
money on music, but like a lot of money on music for it to make a difference.
Yeah. Like,
We all
Yeah.
know Lars is writing the lyrics to Metallica songs.
Yeah, sure.
gotta be. Yeah. Except for that one lyric that he came up with in the studio was like, my death something is a life something. What was it? I can't remember. It was so like juvenile.
So close, no matter how far.
I can't remember it. But it was something like edgelordy kind of about death.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. But anyway, so this is
Checks out.
Electricide. Oh yeah.
Nice. Good clip.
Very good clip.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's the end of the
too.
track. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. That was
riff.
fun. That was
That riff
fun.
hits so hard.
Yeah.
Can't get away from him, can you?
I'm paying you back for the entire bag I bought that you ate.
he brought him just for you, I think.
I did bring him for
I think
you.
he felt bad for eating all of mine, but I didn't really care. It was
Yeah.
either that or I eat them all, like
This is so true.
less dangerous for me.
Is that like your go-to on the road?
We've been getting back
Sour
into
gummy
gummy
worms are
worms.
good.
worms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His brother came down to come to a comedy show, and he's a big gummy worm guy. So I
My
was
brother
like,
loves sour gummy worms.
My
So
brother is a big sour gummy worm too.
it's a brother
Mm,
thing,
yeah.
I think. But this one came out as a single for the record.
Oh, this one did?
Yeah, that's why it has
Yeah.
different artwork on there, which is pretty sick.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, so
Yeah, this is some real like Black Sabbath. This reminds me of War Pigs, I guess is why I'm saying that.
yeah,
Just
I
imagery.
could see some Motorhead influence. in
Motorhead,
there.
Motorhead.
yeah.
Honestly, like Megadeth kind of for me.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, like the regular cover would look kind of like that if it wasn't like so colorful. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But because it's got the orange and stuff, it like it doesn't. Those all have like black backgrounds and shit back then. you
Right.
know? So yeah, very old school, cool cover for that. And then let's see.
Wait. Sorry, we got back up. What's your go-to snack?
Ooh, my go-to snack. Oh man, like when touring, I think it was probably those Ruffles. They don't have them anymore. It was like Ruffles, but it was like loaded baked potato flavor.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Those are good.
Yeah,
Those
Solid.
those aren't around anymore, right? Those are.
No.
I haven't seen them in
No.
a long time.
I think there's a baked potato Pringle, but
Yeah,
not Ruffles anymore.
yeah.
I have a problem with buying chips at gas stations because they're so fucking expensive now.
Oh my god.
It's like
Yeah.
$7 for a bag of Doritos. Or
Yeah, it
half a
is.
bag of Doritos because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
only half full anyway. So
When I'm snacking on a budget, though, I'll
Yeah.
get like either a tube or a tub of cookie dough.
Okay.
Ooh,
You know?
Yeah.
Then you take a little little piece of that,
Mm-hmm.
throw it in the microwave for 30 seconds.
Nice.
You got it's like
That's
half
what's up,
gooey,
okay.
half cookie. You know,
That's
Really
a life
good.
hack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago on New Year's, we bought Hot Pockets from a Quick Trip because we played in Appleton and stayed at a hotel.
Yeah.
And Quick Trip was like the only thing open at 2 a.m. on New Year's Day then.
Yep, as it is.
And yeah, we microwaved some Hot Pockets. So the first thing I ate all year was I believe a pepperoni Hot Pocket.
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
they were pepperoni.
To the spot sometimes.
They were.
Nowhere to go but up.
My favorite are the ham and cheese Hot Pockets. Those are bomb.
Yeah.
And the meatball one.
I think that was the last time I had a Hot Pocket too. It's
Really?
2 years ago.
I used to eat them all the time back in like late high school through college. I ate Hot Pockets, man.
Same.
I would buy them and fold the little cardboard thing so you had something to hold it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. And then I'd always like bite into it and it would squirt out and burn my hand.
Yeah. I could also talk about this at length, but I won't, just for the sake of time tonight. But
Talking Frankie and the Witch Fingers.
Frankie and the Witch Fingers
and snacks.
And snacks, dude. We're talking about everything
They
tonight.
go hand in hand.
Yeah, we're learning how to tour. You know,
Right.
You gotta get your snacks on tour. Get your snack game right. So this is the one where they get into like some of like the lore a little bit. We got this electric pesticide shit, first of all, where I think that they're kind of trying to intimate that, let's see, it says, wait up on making dust, cattle farm, coffin nail, electric eye disrupts the way we know ourselves. It feels like a real kind of War of the Worlds scenario or something with like little dudes walking around zapping people or something. I don't know.
The electric eye, for whatever reason, just brings like imagery of the Eye of Sauron.
Yeah, that too.
To me, a little bit. Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
But, I think he brings up either the electric eye a couple times in this song or throughout the album. I don't know which, but
yeah, I think he does touch on some of this stuff, like especially the Dominator stuff.
Yeah.
Because like kind of like how they're framing like the powers that be is like Dominator culture, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, which is, you know, accurate. You know, if you're living in unfettered capitalism or whatever, like it is supposedly run by that survival of the fittest or kill or be killed bullshit, you know. So yeah, I think they're accurately calling out what one of the big problems is this Dominator mentality in general.
And I think somewhere in here, I think they associate Dominator with masculinity and then Sister System with femininity.
Yeah. Because like we'll get into it in the next track, but yeah, Sister System gets into like they're like trying to find a new place, new, you know, way of thinking, kind of. You know, very psychedelic driven ideas in this album for sure. And I like that there's like kind of hope in this album too. Like it is like kind of a dystopia, but it does also kind of continuously put forward like, you know, stuff like I don't believe it works out this way, referring to the Dominator culture and stuff. Like I choosing not to believe that it will turn out the worst, you know.
It's really cool because if I wrote this, it would be just death and despair. I'd be like, well, we're fucked, guys. I'm sorry. It doesn't get better from here.
Which, like, that's the thing. Like, there are plenty of albums that have that layout, you know, where it doesn't go very well. In fact, I think that albums probably more than anything have the negative ending more so than positive, you know.
Totally.
I think whereas like movies, you always want a happy ending or something, you know.
I think something similar, it's a little bit more loosey-goosey than this, but that touches some of the same themes but infests the rat's nest. It's less like futuristic machine computer taking over and more like we need to save the planet because we can't do anything else. You know what I mean? And that one is very like alarmist maybe, or like that, like there isn't really a great upside, you know?
Oh yeah, no, there is no upside in Infest the Rat's Nest, man. That's all downside. But yeah, no, I like there's I think there is kind of a thing where a lot of people are kind of recognizing that even within all, you know, all the criticism we have and all of the, you know, horrible things that are happening, we do have to fight to remain positive about some things. And that is a radical thing to do sometimes, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I like that we're, you know, in this, we're fighting the Dominator culture. And they said, they want to weaponize humanic power somewhere in the lyrics. I'm trying to find that. But cool. Dissolve the boundaries too. That this line here, dissolve boundaries, I think refers to like talking about between like humans. I think I think there's a lot of like collectivist kind of themes that they're kind of. I don't know if it's just collectivist, actually like collectivist in like the Eastern sense, or if it's just collectivist in the I just took a bunch of psychedelic sense.
I feel like it is a fine line between those two things.
Yeah.
They could definitely go.
And they definitely
way.
inspired. The Easter stuff definitely, inspired us quite a bit for a little while there. In the 50s and 60s.
I think there was I was really into this band for a good while, and I tried to pull out of that like anytime they would have like a collaboration with like, oh yeah, what's in my bag, Frankie and the Witch Fingers style thing. Like, what are you guys listening to? Or I think they did a collaboration with Doc Martens once, and I would like watch everything that came out. And it's not that I don't want to do that. I just don't want to get burnt out on them, because if you're like that in the sauce with a group, you can really burn yourself out. And I think some of the albums that they were talking about in this video that I had some of that in Eastern, like, I don't want to say like Buddhism, but maybe something adjacent to that. The reference or the albums that they're talking about in it were like much different than what you'd think. I think we talked about Can a little bit before this. There's some Can influence in there, and there's another one. I forget the artist, but it's a really, really interesting jazz album. I'll try and remember it for you before
I like that like
this.
Psychedelic culture and thoughts have kind of come back in like a new way, where it's like a little more, maybe conscientious of like cultural appropriation and whatnot. You know what I mean? Whereas like in the 60s, it was just like, we're just going to take whatever culture and throw it in our music and our outfits and whatever. It's fine. Everyone's the same. There's definitely some criticism of that stuff that we, learned through, and we have a new group of hippies now. We have a new flock of hippies, I think. This next track is really cool track and idea for the whole album and how it connects to things. This is Sister System.
Oof, nice.
That's fun.
That is good.
Was that a single? That feels like I feel like that should be a single too. I don't know.
I'm not sure that it was.
No, I think
because they're like,
I think it was.
Like that's like something that can get stuck in your head. You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
Electricide. I want to say Empire and Future Phobic were too.
Oh, Future Phobic was for sure.
I don't know. Sister System might have been. Great. I mean, Miles Davis was a single too.
Miles Davis is cool.
Okay, no, I don't know.
It's
there's a couple of them that could be singles for sure.
Here's the thing. I think they did like A-B singles. So they might have had 4, maybe 5 singles for this album.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what singles are for people that aren't on the radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think it was kind of...
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
it's just a teaser. It's just a way to kind of spread out
the
album a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I think the idea nowadays is to kind of like put out like what they did. Let's say they did do 4 singles. They did the ones that maybe were like best foot forward, and then like maybe something a little bit different for the hardcore fans, and then like do that twice. And then you can put out 7 inches. Which I think is what they ended up doing. Amber has one of their 7 inches.
Okay, cool.
Electricide on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I'm having a hard time remembering because it was 2023 when they were releasing all this stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
Time is so hard to keep track of.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, it's also hard to like keep track of like what singles are, at least for me, because like you said, they're more like previews for what's to come, more than like
it's to hype up the
stuff
album
that you're going to hear on the actual terrestrial radio.
Right.
Because I don't know, terrestrial radio is just whatever is in the top like 1% or whatever of music, or
well,
you know.
By us, you get pop, country, butt rock, or the college station, which is awesome, or WORT, which is also awesome.
Yeah,
but,
a little bit of everything on those.
But like outside of that, terrestrial radio is like.
Yeah, one of my dreams is to own like have a radio station. I think that'd be so cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be really cool.
Amber FM.
Amber FM.
I'd be so shy that I just wouldn't talk at all. I'd just be like, okay, here's the next one. And then it would just be like 4 hours of music.
Straight
Yeah.
Yeah. Just music all day. I mean, you can do that, on even live stream doing that kind of stuff.
That's true, but something about like the physical radio aspect of it is the part that I really want the most.
I think,
pushing buttons and turning knobs.
Yeah, maybe I'll get a ham radio and I'll just start blasting out something
on
a frequency
I think
that way.
It harkens to a story that you once told me about a band had like a pirate radio station. They were just broadcasting.
Dude, like pirate radio back like in England or whatever. You ever read about that?
No.
That shit was crazy because like the BBC was trying to like censor a bunch of stuff, and like there was kind of that kind of Margaret Thatcher era or whatever where stuff was getting a little authoritarian, and there would be these people that rode around on boats around the international waters of England, broadcasting that stuff that the BBC wouldn't play.
Wild.
Yeah.
That's
cool. Like literally just going out like and just actual pirates out there, it's just crazy. Speaking of going out far away into international waters.
Nice.
This track is about the sister system. It's like I don't know if it's like a parallel universe situation, or if it's like another star system, but the idea though is kind of it's like, from what I can tell, it's like an anti-patriarchal type system that's like, more collectivist, more, I don't know, kind, I guess. It talks a little bit about how her brother is at war in the song, which I think is referring to our system,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like an actual sister system would be like a different solar system or something that's like similar. It's like sister cities.
Right. Yeah, like what's that one that's on Orion's belt? I think that's the closest one. I think that supposedly has a pretty similar situation. I don't think it's a sister system, but it's like the one that we would travel to if we did travel, because it's the closest one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the way he sings it. The and I was passing down no music in your hovering sun. Your universe is the end, and we've just begun. Okay, interesting, considering what they said about us living in the end of time.
Yeah.
It's got kind of like two sides of the same coin, like as above, so below, some yin yang energy.
Yeah, individual vaporized. Like there's straight up like being like, no more individuals. We want us all to be together. And your brother's out here making war. It's pretty straightforward. Like the themes on this track in particular, you know what I mean? Like they're like really kind of just telling you about, Dominator's making war here. In the third verse here.
I'm a pretty big fan of like how different up to this point the instrumentation in this song is, because this one's like the first of many on the album it's like pretty funky.
Yeah.
And then Mac called it like a chromatic riff where they're like do 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 do, and then like the entire song changes.
Chromatic riff. I like that.
Yeah.
Is that an actual term?
Yeah, chromatic is like half steps. So like A to A flat and then to B or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So they're like
it's half steps. It's not whole steps. So it's not like A to B to C. It's like A to A flat to
Okay. Chromatic.
B minus to C plus, whatever. I don't know. Half steps. You know what I'm saying?
And all the half steps.
That's chromatic.
Yeah. So it's I don't know, it's a cool walk up that they do there, and then like
that bass player is walking all over the place, man.
Oh,
Nikki Pickle.
Nikki is a
great
beast.
bass player.
She's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's
is that the lady on the far right?
Nikki Pickle.
Yeah,
Nikki Pickle.
Does she generally have green hair?
Yeah, most of the green or like orange or something.
Okay. Yeah, I think most of the pictures I've seen have had her. She's had green hair, so, and that's like that type of green that like washes out after a few like showers, right?
Yeah, you have to keep up on that.
Yeah, really keep up on that.
That's a commitment.
Yeah,
definitely.
I don't have a transition to this next track. This next track we got for you is a track called Weird Dog.
Funky guitar.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's probably my favorite like solo-y bit in the album, I think. Yeah, that one goes pretty hard.
That one is a trip and a half.
Yeah.
I like during the like, I'm just gonna call it the funky part for lack of a better term. They have like the vocal hooks, but then it always comes back to like a guitar hook where it's like boo doo 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 doo, right?
Yeah.
And it's like kind of a signature that they'll kind of like trade off between them. And then like what you're saying, there's a point in the song where you're like, okay, go, and then they hit it hard, you know?
Yeah. I love the like it's got like the way he's singing, he's got a nice like rhythm to it.
Yeah.
Almost I don't know, is that like a cha-cha thing? What am I trying to think of? It's got a cool rhythm to it though.
Yeah. His vocalization, I feel like sometimes, because I'm sure he's got a big singing range, right? And he can like yell and get pretty high, but like in songs like this, it's like, you're right. His singing is more rhythmic, as though he's like playing with the band as opposed to singing on top of it, which is
it
really cool.
It reminds me, I mentioned in the listen through of a band called Morning Teleportation. Really, really great stuff. If you want to hear, very similar stuff, their lead singer tragically passed, so I don't think they're making any new stuff, but this is really, really similar. And I also love that like it's called Weird Dog, which doesn't seem to really have much to do with the song, and it just says, the chorus, we're gonna see Machete, well, matter of fact, disobey, we're gonna see Machete, come back and swing your body, oh. So it's like, I don't know if this is talking about like revolution type stuff, like we're gonna come in with our machetes, we're gonna like tear this shit down, or they also bring up the Tao here. The sweetest thoughts are better off alive, walking or waking up the core, waking up the hive, waking up the Tao, waking may arise. So there's a lot going on in this track, but it's like kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like direct what it's about. You know what I mean? Like it's up for interpretation.
It's not like, a lot of this stuff is not like linear storytelling. It's kind of world building and like through imagery.
Yeah, like is this like has Machete come up before? Ever?
I don't know that it has. I mean, I'm gonna be
It almost seems like it was like something that they're coming back to.
I mean,
like, don't you know?
Yeah, you guys know about Machete, right? Fuck.
I kind of feel like in their past records, I've maybe felt similar where I'm like, oh, I kind of think I know what he's saying. And then like you read the lyrics, you're like, that is nothing like what I thought he was saying.
Yeah. Like this, like it strikes me as like a song that's like maybe written from the like kind of Paul McCartney school of thought, where it's like, this sounds cool, I'm going to sing it. Like regardless, divorced from any meaning whatsoever,
I almost feel as though like the more dancey part could be separate from like what you're talking about towards the end, where he's like talking about waking up, where it's like the other part might be like, oh yeah, let's have a good time, and then it's like, okay, good time's over, we gotta wake up, like wake up, come back to the real world, like you gotta realize what's actually going on here.
Yeah. Maybe it's maybe like the machete parts are kind of like people just getting completely obsessed with the action part of it.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we gotta come back down to earth a little bit. I mean, and I mean, I guess he's talking about desensitization a little bit.
Yeah.
Where was that? I lost it. Never mind. But yeah, that's a fun track. Weird Dog. I just that this track in particular, like, if it works on its own, doesn't need to be connected to any album at all, and or it's a fun little track that shows their kind of eccentricity, I think. Yeah. What?
Sorry, I was gonna say, like, we did just listen to this album before talking about it now.
Yeah.
So like none of this is a surprise, but we're like halfway through it right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, this is another freaking great song. Like, I've listened to this album so many times already, and we're coming back to it. I'm like, man, another freaking banger. And
sometimes the podcast is a lot of us saying this song is a banger.
Yeah.
I love this song.
Yeah.
Like there's some albums that's like every track is like, hey, every track is a hit, you know? And yeah, this is a fun album. Then we get to this track, Doom Boom, which is the closest we get. It's not quite the titular track, but it's very close. Here is Doom Boom. I wanted to get the part where they come out of that section, because most bands would end with that, you know, all the vocals overlapping and stuff, you know. Usually that's where you want to end it, because like, oh, look at the vocals, it's so cool. But they're like, no, we're gonna get back to the jam. We're gonna get out of the song. Yeah,
this album, I think, kind of has a couple like musical scenes, I would say, and the two big ones, they've got this like underlying like funk thing going on, and then that like garage rock powerhouse thing, and they mix it so well, that's I don't think is like a lot of other bands are doing it like they do.
Yeah, like it is like very clearly like garage rock or whatever, but like it is like so groovy and so like this one could be like an older like classic track almost, you know. If it had like, you know, older production. I was saying while listening to a lot of this, I don't think I've mentioned it on the podcast yet, a lot of this stuff sometimes reminds me of like King Crimson in the, you know, attention to detail, and as well as like having some horns sometimes that are like not in there in like a ska way, but like in a, you know, ensemble kind of way. Really enjoyed just the way they put together tracks.
Talking about like the way that it sounds, it's not like this, not just this album, but a lot of their stuff isn't super duper hi-fi sounding.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. And like I said, I dug like super deep into this band in the past, and like we've been following them on social media for a very long time now, probably close to 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah.
And I'm fairly certain most all of their albums, Zam through Current at least, have been recorded directly to a Tascam 388, which is it's a 8-track console with a 1/4-inch tape machine built in. So they're recording all of this analog to tape. I don't know how it's mixed or anything.
Yeah.
But like there are small details with like, there's not a ton of high end on the drums and cymbals, and like some of it's kind of crunchy. And I would have to think a lot of that does come from the console that they're using. It was I would call it like a prosumer grade all-in-one solution that you could get back in like the 80s.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, you know, that's one of the key things I think for a lot of those Australian bands, at least, is like they're recording on like a lot of original equipment and not, you know, relying on, you know, the wizardry of Pro Tools to find all the effects and things, you know.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because it's just different when you're like inputting stuff into like a Pro Tools type thing than when you're actually like moving around dials and fucking with a device.
Not to mention you have to actually you have to play your parts.
Yeah, you have to know how to actually use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This track has a lot of I think stuff that kind of goes towards enlightenment in as far as the lyrics go. There's a part where he says no more shackled to idealism. And then there's a dissipating discord and harmonizing age or some of the things that he says. And no more shackles in the bridge here is no more shackled to lies, no more shackled to hate, no more shackled to war, no more shackled to politicians, no more shackled to die, no more shackled to work, no more shackled to wait. A future will boom, no more shackled to hate. And then this is the part where there's a lot of lyrics singing and meshing with each other.
Yeah, I like overlapping.
But, I like it's kind of like a statement of intent, kind of, like we're not going to be shackled to all these things anymore, and the future will bloom and boom because of that. Again, I'm not sure like where like the data stuff comes in necessarily. I mean, maybe that's more in the other tracks, but
yeah.
Yeah, I think like when they're talking about like the electric eye and stuff, sometimes I think like that's like maybe a metaphor for technology.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
The all-seeing algorithm or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. For some reason, maybe I'm just like, I like it when there's a title track that's the same.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this could have been called Data Doom, the track.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would have given it to him.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Data boom.
Data boom. I mean, data boom. Yeah.
I understand why they didn't.
Yeah. Some people are like, you know what? No, this is a different track. This is its own thing. Or no, sorry, it's Doom Boom. I keep on saying data boom. It's Doom Boom.
Doom boom.
Boom boom.
Okay, I retract my previous statement. Doom Boom's great.
Doom Boom is great.
Doom Boom's fun. And then Futurephobic is also fun. That's a nice title. Here's a little bit of Futurephobic. Yeah, that is Futurephobic, and it is the 7th track. It's this is the one where it gets very Devo for a second.
Yes.
It's really like what's the genre called? New wavy a little bit.
Yeah.
For a second.
I think I'm tied between this one and Empire for my favorite song on this album.
Ooh, yeah.
This one's got a lot of character, I think. This one's like, it really stands out, partially because of the Devo-y kind of thing. It also, some of the vocals sound a little bit like Pipe Eye, which is a King Gizzard offshoot band. Yeah. It's I can't remember his name, but the guitarist and keyboardist in King Gizzard.
His name is escaping me currently, too.
Yeah. But Pipe Eye, really...
Yeah.
Really dig Pipe Eye, and some of the vocals kind of remind me of that. But yeah, in this track they're discussing kind of the trappings of capitalism and commercialism and stuff, and all the fun stuff that comes with all that. Let me pull up some lyrics here.
So a lot of the times I feel like bands will kind of get into like a thing, and they've got like a template or a way that they like to do and start songs. And this one, for me, starts so much differently because I don't know if they got the synth on this album, the last album, But this one, like this song starts off with the synth just doing like that pulsating.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a newer sound on this album where you're like, oh,
yeah,
what's that? And then
because they don't usually use that kind of stuff.
Excuse me. I think they might have introduced it on the previous album.
Okay.
People eating monsters eating people.
I feel like synth is like always one of those things that like if you don't have synth, it's like kind of a matter of time before it's incorporated.
Totally.
Yeah, because it's used so much in the studio, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact: we have a synth now.
Yeah, it's a natural progression of a lot of rock bands.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just it is the key, you know.
Yeah.
But they use it really well in this song, and I think it. Going along with like the theme of the album, I definitely think that the synth is a nice addition because it's like it is that thing, even though like synthesis has been around for ever now.
Yeah.
It's like it adds to that kind of futuristic technological overtone.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
With the subject matter, it's always a good element to play with when you're talking about artificial things.
Yeah.
I think that I might be starting to think, figure out what this dated doom thing might be about. Cause like I was reading this part here, dream of technological empathetic code, future language of the soul to get to where you are. But earlier in the chorus here, system has no way to connect, no connection. So I think that maybe the data doom that they're talking about is like the fact that we have this technology that can be used to connect all of us in a beautiful way, but it's not being used for that.
No.
It's no connection rather than what it should be is what it's actually connecting us. You know what I mean?
That actually brings me to a fairly interesting topic.
Yeah.
We've got the record.
Yeah.
There is
right here.
Hidden information on that record. There are symbols in there that represent letters, and there's actually a secret code throughout.
They made an alphabet?
They did.
Oh, shit, dude.
Yeah, and
I wish I knew that before we started.
I am so sorry. We should.
I would have. This notebook would have been full of. I would have been like pointing at.
Yeah, I already did
the
that.
meme.
Yeah.
She had. It was like 2 or 3 pages worth of stuff, and it's essentially what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away too much, and
no, it's so much fun to decode.
Yeah. So
I love that,
but I don't think they're upfront with what the decoding is, right? Like you had to dig for it.
I had no idea. I had literally just sitting down listening to that album, looking at everything. I'm like, this is too much. Like this isn't made up. This is a thing. So
this has got to mean something.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think it goes as far as like the words on that
the phone thing.
The glyph, if you will.
Oh, and it's got the album in the phone thing.
Yeah.
It's the album within the album.
You already got it. You're already well on your way to decoding this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Very
rocks.
cool.
This one is one of the.
Oh, that's how. That's how you start. To decode it. Whatever song is playing on that screenshot gives you the letters.
Yep.
I would highly recommend if you
Yes.
don't own this on
Good shit.
vinyl to get it because it is well worth
Actually,
it.
when you were opening the tape, I think there might be more on there that I
Oh,
didn't
for real?
get to. So now I get to do something when I get home.
Very
Hell
nice.
yeah.
We pre-ordered both of them because
like-
I was like, she got us into tapes, and I was like, well, we can't just have one.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a good point to bring it up, but I think like one of my favorite aspects about this album was like the world building that they did outside of the music.
Yeah.
Like they had an entire website where like all the videos were related to all this concept art and things.
Yeah.
Everything that they did like for this cycle was tied to this.
Yeah,
Like all the artwork and things. And I just really, really appreciated that. And that's something that now I try to incorporate when we do things.
You know, when we do there's a final segment of the podcast now where we actually rank it as far as like 1 to 5 as far as like how good it lands as a concept album, and that definitely gives it a fucking point.
Sick.
Yeah, that like that kind of thing is like what we love in a concept album. I think
it's kind of crazy how much they put into it, and I mean like,
and you never know if anyone's gonna ever even look into it, you know?
Right?
Oh yeah.
I think So before this, my favorite album of theirs was Zam, which is honestly, this album isn't a concept album, but in some ways it is. So this Zam, I believe, is either an alien ship or an alien species of some sort.
He's got the special flashy edition.
Oh, that's a special edition. Okay.
And there's a lot of stuff on there where I'm like, he's singing about aliens in some of this, and in this one, so people eating monsters, eating people, eating monsters. The one that's playing up there.
Oh yeah, I see the imagery for that.
That one, I think is more aligned to maybe like aliens and monsters than this one. But then like the Data Doom. Honestly, I don't want to say it blew the other two out of the water. Like Zam held the top contender for me for a good while.
Yeah.
But Data Doom, I think, might be my favorite Frankie album now because of everything that they did.
Everything they did like surrounding its release.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like seeing them after they released it too, like they're incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I definitely want to learn more about that. That's the thing with like some of these, bands that aren't big enough yet to where there's like fans making a lot of fan theories online,
right?
But there are fan theories, those are like my favorite to dig into.
We incorporated a tiny aspect of like some secret code something in our album too. No one's found it. I don't really expect anybody to, but if anyone's listening, that's your hint.
Yes, let us know. Let us know if you've discovered it.
Vinyl only, unfortunately.
That's true.
When you're CDs are cool, but the way we've been doing CDs, which is the cardboard pocket, if you will,
right,
leaves a little bit less room for stuff in there. And when you're working on
a budget,
a budget, and when you're working on vinyl, it's literally 12 inches. You know what I mean? You got a lot more room to work with. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, everybody, go out there and get your Lunar Moth vinyl. I'm sure it's still available.
We got a couple. They're going fast.
They're going.
Yeah,
that's good that they're going. This next track we got for you is a little track by the name of Mild Davis. Man, this definitely is one of those albums where like the more you listen to it, the better it gets, even though it starts off good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is going to be going on pretty regular, the rotation, I think.
Even listening to it in headphones is so much different. Like there was a couple parts where I was like, I have not heard that before. That was fun.
Dude, right? That's like, I only listen to it on speakers because I'm trying to save what I have left in my ears. But then I do the listen through and I'm like, what the heck? Yeah. There's some albums that are just made for that, Yeah. But I feel like there's like only so much accumulative time you have to like listen to music on headphones and on earphones and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like it just eventually it hurts.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by the title Mild Davis, a play on Miles Davis.
Yeah.
I know that the album I was trying to think of before was by Alice Coltrane, which is it Louis Coltrane?
I believe so.
The jazz musician's wife.
John Coltrane.
Sorry, John Coltrane.
Yeah.
Louis is the cop-out name I use for everyone I don't know. But Alice has this, it's an incredible, and it's like a very experimental album called Journey into, Secha Donata.
Oh, I think I've seen that cover before.
Yeah, I think it was fairly popular, but this was Nikki Pickles' pick for like what is one of your favorite albums of all time.
Okay.
And it's really cool. It's like I said, it's a bit experimental and a lot of different like, I guess, themes on it. Every song kind of has like a different feel to it, which is super cool. But I would imagine, with that being said, Mild Davis, like someone in the band has to be really into jazz.
Yeah. There was it reminds me of Mild High Club.
Oh yeah.
That band. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to hear that like Miles Davis and not think it's about weed in some way, shape, or form.
Well, yeah, because on the Mild High Club record with King Gizzard, they had a song called "Rolling Stoned."
Yep.
So yeah, it all.
And we got both the doggos.
It all comes together. They're like, you guys are still in here? He's like, you guys usually take a break in the middle. What's up?
Was this the one we said was in 7?
This is this is definitely the 7/8 one. Yeah. Because it's got that thing where like you're bobbing your head with it, but then like every like couple measures you kind of have to like
recalibrate.
Adjust. Yeah. It's fun.
But I found that 7, because it's become a lot more of a popular time signature. It's just easier to do the very slow back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you guys have any 7/8 ones?
No.
Not yet, but we've been working on a couple that have either a time signature in 7 or 9.
You're starting to mess around with time signatures a bit.
It just has to feel right. That's the biggest part.
As long as it feels right, like it doesn't even feel like a different time signature.
Exactly. You know? There have been times where we're like,
unless you're the drummer, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine. We've had times where it's like, oh, we should write something in this time signature, and we're like actively trying to seek it out, and then it just feels forced and like not the same. But there have definitely been a couple riffs that are like, oh yeah, that hits.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I just wanted to read a little bit of this, some of the lyrics here in the bridge, because it connects to the whole theme of things. Depletion complete. Hold on. Depletion complete. I just have a note down that says read the bridge. Depletion complete. Fixation of the material shed into a non-dominator society. Our cybernetic potential. Depletion complete. Fixation on the material shed into a non-dominator society. So I like this, like fixation of the material, has been shed, and it's like a hopeful thing. It's like we are actually getting to be a non-dominator society, and then there's the line, abide with the overmind, it's time we feminize, kind of hailing back to that Sister System track.
Yeah. So
yeah, this is a song that like kind of like takes the themes from a few of the other tracks and like talks about them all kind of together. Kind of brings the whole thing full circle.
Yeah. And the bass playing is nuts on this song. It really is crazy.
That's right, because you play the bass, right?
I don't, Mac.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that's you. Okay. But the bass is really, really, really solid. Yeah. And then, we just got one more track, which is the political cannibalism track. And, maybe one of the most relevant ones.
It feels very on the nose as opposed to the rest of the album.
This one hits harder now than maybe when it came out.
Yeah. It feels to me like Miles Davis, with the way it was like incorporating those other elements, like definitely it's like tying all of the different things that they've mentioned earlier together, and like it's really fun to try and hypothesize like what they're talking about. I'm sure some of it has like relevance to whoever wrote it, and they have the grand meaning, but it's really cool to be like, okay, nice, so like you're connecting the dots, you're doing the Charlie Day thing where you're like
now that we actually like judge them, like actually like put them on a scale of 1 to 5 at the end of the podcast, I find myself like being like, all right, so how much does this song actually connect to each other? Blah, 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 But this next track though, Political Cannibalism, great way to end off the album. Here it is. And I would like to say that listeners of this album that are stopping at Futurephobic, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh my god, look at those numbers.
Yeah, dude. I always look at these things and I'm like, okay, so some people are just listening like this far, and then they're just like, okay, I'm done.
I think it has to do with it being a single.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
The ones with the highest stream. We were talking about singles before. It's probably just like the top 3 highest streams are probably the 3 singles.
There you go.
Right.
I agree with you though. If anyone stops there, what the hell are you doing?
I'm like, listen to it start to finish and don't stop. That's how I think you should listen to everything because that's how I do it. But no, like there are some times where I'm just like, well, come on, why is this one only got 100,000 and the rest of them got so much, you know? But yeah, this one's like, it's just fun the ways. Again, it's kind of like maybe like in maybe which was the Devo sounding one, 7. He's having like the way he's singing it is very cool.
Yeah.
Political cannibalism. I can't even do it. Political cannibalism. It's like yeah.
It's a good flow. I mean, I don't know if I've ever analyzed his singing this much, but like super unique.
Yeah.
Really, really
like,
good.
It's one of those things where it's like you don't necessarily notice all of it because like the way that they mix things, the vocals are kind of, you know, given the same level of attention as like instruments, you know?
Yeah.
They do that thing where, you know, the vocals aren't like ahead of everything else.
It's sunk in and washed out with like the delay reverb treatment that most of the garage rockers like.
Yeah.
It's so dancey for like how intense it is lyrically too. It's like
yeah. I love when an album can do that, like actually give you like a really fun time listening, and then if you want to, you can look into it and find like the deeper, you know, what's going on in the lyrics, you know. I mean, this one just I mean, kind of let's see, this machine feeds us ease. Got that taste in our mouths. It's fucking political cannibalism. Everybody eats their own. This more just sounds like what am I trying to say? I don't know, just an argument against the powers that be in the album in general, you know?
Agreed. I mean, like I said, this one is like pretty on the nose about or what it feels like he's talking about, and like I'm sure a lot of the album has to be like somewhat politically charged and relevant about like what they're going about, but like this one definitely feels, even in like the instrumentation, maybe slightly rebellious. I don't know. It's definitely got some cool stuff, some angular riffs in there with the stops and
like I wrote down that this would be really fun to see live. This one out of all of them, I think would be one of those that like gets a lot of energy live in the, you know, the space that it's got. And yeah, you know, I mean, it's again, it's more relevant to us now because of what we're seeing in the world, you know, as far as political infighting and just you know, no one being able to really work together in a meaningful capacity.
I think he kind of touches base on like environmentalism in this track too.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, kind of what throughout the album, maybe what he's touching on. I mean, once again, he's talking in like, he's talking in a bunch of different like, I don't know, isms for like, there's the sister system and what we're relating to like men, and then also like the technology and the earth and this greater spirituality. And it's like, I kind of think that maybe in this he's the political infighting and then like I don't remember what the lyrics were specifically, but it was essentially like the earth is kind of fucked too, like what are we doing?
It's like kind of I like that, like the previous track kind of offers like a, you know, positive spin on, you know, what could happen, and then this is kind of, I don't know, a cautionary note to end on.
Right.
Also, I noticed this is the only one that's got the exclusive or the
explicit.
I
think he says fuck in this song.
Couple of times.
Is it fuck? Okay, I thought it might have been the cannibalism thing. I was like, are they doing this for the cannibalism thing? That's weird.
They're doing it for the fuck.
Okay, it's the fuck. Yep, that makes more sense. But we got one more thing to do before we get out of the show, and that is we got to decide how well this album landed as the concept album that it set out to do. And no, I was so we have a scale of like 1 to 5. 5 being it landed at the best. That's like maybe your Dark Side of the Moons or your Queen's Reich,
right?
Operation Mindcrime, and then 1 would be like something that's not even really a concept album. It's like maybe a soundtrack that we've covered before, you know. So yeah, so we're it's 1 to 5 as far as like how well it lands the concepts. I'll just start to kind of get my thoughts out about it. I think normally, like before you told me about all the extra stuff, I was thinking it's like around a 3, but I think this is easily a 3.5 to 4 for with all of the extra things that they did to you know add the lore, you know, that I don't even know about yet, you know.
Right.
But yeah, like most of the songs connect. There's maybe a few parts that don't connect, you know, to the greater all theme. But yeah, I think 3.5 or 4. What about you, Mac? What are you thinking as far as we can pull up a list of our previous votes if you guys want to see a visual of what we voted before.
I'd be very curious.
Yeah. We do have the actual tier maker list.
Cool.
I can show you.
I will say on the way here, or maybe not on the way here, but when we're talking about coming on again, I was like, oh fuck, did we lead him astray? Is it not that much of a concept album? But
I think it's definitely enough of a, like this is like,
I give it a 4.
Yeah, it's like I think 90% there. There's just, you know, maybe
it's
not like there's a lot of concept albums where like 1 or 2 tracks are just about something else.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
after then listening to it and reading the lyrics and then talking about like all the extra stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't think they advertised it as a concept album.
No, I didn't even like, I was curious to see like if other people had talked about it in this way, and I couldn't find anything. So I was like, oh.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, they're still like, I mean, I don't want to say they're like indie or whatever, or like it's not that big or whatever, but like, you know, they're like a relatively smaller band. So it's like, yeah, there's not as much of the chatter online that you'd like want there to be, you know, like maybe this is the start of the chatter. You guys, you know, maybe we can start the discussion about this album in a more meaningful way with this, but
I kind of feel as though they are an if you know kind of band, which is a really cool spot to be at.
Yeah. Like I think I've seen their t-shirts around town, you know, like I feel like there's some fans around, you know, but not to the level of even King Gizzard or something where it's like people have meme-ified the King Gizzard experience at this point. But yeah, so these are some of the like the 4s we got. We got like Demon Days,
fantastic,
Mastodon, the Mollusk, which is, oh man, I don't know why this isn't
Daft Punk
5, but it's a 4. So yeah,
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, nice.
Yeah, that one we ranked pretty high for some reason.
Yeah, that's up there.
Yeah. Sometimes like honestly, like it's not like there's not like a science to this either, you know, like you can give it like someone gave their album a 6.9, you know, so I had to just kind of average it out.
I'm gonna say that I think in my eyes the music on this record is a 5. I will say conceptually I'll probably land somewhere around where you and Mac are, 3.5 to 4. I might just give it a 4 because like all the extra shit and like all the visuals and music videos and shit that they had for this too were all in line with it. All in the same vibe. And like, I know how hard it is to do all of that. Like their guitarist usually does most of their like artwork and all that stuff. And they actually like worked with someone to design that, the way it pulls apart, all the like the decoder stuff in it. Like they spent a lot of time on it.
That's like some old school, record stuff. Like they used to have a lot of fun with them.
It's pretty sick. So I think I might have to go 4.
Yeah.
But the music is a 5.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Amber, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling a pretty strong 4. I want to give it a 5. It's my favorite album. I want to just give it a 5.
You're allowed to give it you're allowed to be completely biased to give it a 5. We have very little rules.
Yeah, I think I'll give it a 5 because it's like you can go pretty deep with it, I think.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, like it's not like linear in its storytelling, but I think like it does build out a world through like just like imagery and like repeating concepts. I'm gonna just stick with a 5. Yeah.
I think if you wanted to try and draw parallels between the songs that we don't think fit the story, and you dig hard enough, you could probably find a way to make it relate if you really wanted. Right.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and like another thing, like without knowing like the past discography, like this strikes me as a band where like there's probably some connective tissue with some of the lyrics.
I would imagine,
but I wouldn't know yet just because I've only heard the one.
So. I mean, the feel of it is fantastic. Honestly, if you just wanted to start working your way backwards in your discography, like you're just going to keep hitting gold.
Right. Well, I think with the average of ours, that's like a 4.5, I think, with our
I think
with
so.
what we've decided. So yeah, this is gonna land as a 4.5, guys. I think that's a good solid number for this one, especially given what you told me about the decoder stuff. I'd love to do that for a night, just decode all that stuff.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
they went the extra mile.
Fun.
Yeah. So that's but that's the last thing on the podcast. Thank you guys so much for being on again. I really appreciate you guys coming in the studio and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
And we'll definitely be having you back either for the Clowncore or something else, but we'll definitely be having you guys back again. Thank you all for tuning in to the live stream. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see y'all next time. Oh wait, hold on. Do you guys have anything to plug? I forgot. We don't usually have anything to plug anymore.
Honestly, we're just playing a lot of shows.
Playing a lot of shows. Where's the next show coming?
Oh, our website.
LunarMothBand.com. LunarMothBand.com. We have all of our shows on there. We're mostly playing out of state, so it's like if you're listening because you're in the Madison area.
Yeah. You have to wait till the end of the month.
You'll have to wait till the end of the month.
We got one.
We do have some New York and LA listeners though.
Oh,
okay,
sick.
great. We're going to come out there in September, hopefully.
Yeah, we're hoping to come to New York in September. We're hoping to come to LA in the future, but I have limited vacation time, so maybe next year.
Yeah, LA's a little further away
than
New York. Yeah. There's all that desert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Got to go over those mountains.
Okay. Well, East Coast, they're coming to you soon. Check it out on the website, LunarMothBand.com.
Yeah,
LunarMothBand.com.
Nice.
LunarMothBand.com.
Hell yeah.
You can get merch. Sign up for our newsletter.
Our email list.
Yeah.
You guys got a newsletter?
We have a newsletter, and they get preferential treatment.
Damn. You guys are doing all the band
Just
things.
in case Meta gets taken down and there's no more Facebook and Instagram, you got LunarMothBand.com.
That's actually very smart.
We're making our own social network.
That's the only reason I think I update the Patreon with my episodes.
That's
because Spotify is just taking down the episodes as they go up, it seems, at this point.
Oh no.
But they get to YouTube though, where they stay. So like
that's nice.
Whether or not they're on Spotify anymore, I don't care because Spotify is an evil corporation. But I don't know if YouTube's any better. But they're there. And Patreon, they will always be there. And reminder, patreon.com/FlowersStatePark. It exists, and there's a free tier now. You don't have to even pay money. You can just join the Patreon, and I don't really do much on it, but you can join. Thank you.
Thanks for
I
having
am really
us.
good at selling my Patreon.
There we go.
But yeah, thank you guys for coming again, and we love you guys. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.
See you, everyone.
Bye.
The Album Concept Hour is Brad LeBaron, Dave Gallagher, and John Aker. Special thanks to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard for the theme music. Join the discussion on our Discord Or for everything else, go to linktree/Flyover State Park. See you on Side B. This is Flyover State Park. You are clear to land.